This week has turned out to be the most wonderful week for me. My name is Paul, and I'm 21 years old. I've been married for 5 years. I had to marry Lisa because she was expecting a baby. Our son is growing up beautifully. The family seems cohesive, and from the outside looks like a normal, average family. But I've never liked Lisa. She was always a cranky child, and having 2 cranky children in the family sometimes made me feel like I was going to lose my mind. It seemed like my whole life revolved around maintaining a balance between her demands and our child's needs. Once in a while we would go out for walks, but most of my time was spent either at home with my son or at work. I felt trapped in a circle of monotony. Life seemed to drag on endlessly without change or excitement. One of the few bright spots was my relationship with Lisa's sister. Julia was breathtakingly beautiful. Her presence magnetically attracted me. Every time I saw her, I couldn't help but notice her charm and elegance. Her smile could brighten the dimmest day, and her laughter was like music that dispelled my anxieties for a moment. Julia herself often expressed bewilderment at how Lisa could take me for granted, especially when, in her words, I was a devoted and handsome husband. To be honest, I never thought of myself as particularly attractive. I always considered myself plain, even below average. Lisa often reinforced that opinion with her remarks, reminding me that I didn't stand out in any way. But Julia saw something different. She always supported me, complimented me, and made me feel like I was worthy of more than the life I was leading. Her words, though simple, carried a weight that made me question everything. Lisa, on the other hand, often grumbled and found reasons to complain. She seemed perpetually disgruntled, and her negativity seeped into every corner of our home life. I don't know why I put up with it, but I did. Day after day, the same routine repeated itself. Work, home, work, home. It seemed like my spirit was slowly crumbling from boredom. I began to think that this was all there was to life. That one day Julia suggested something that seemed almost revolutionary to me: to go to the countryside. No kids, no parents, just the 3 of us. She wanted to relive the carefree days of our youth, and for a moment I had a glimmer of hope. Julia, Lisa, and I packed for the trip, though Lisa's constant nagging about what to bring with us dampened the excitement. She packed as if we were leaving for a month rather than 2 days, making an already simple plan seem unnecessarily complicated. When we arrived at the rented house, it was like we were in a fairy tale. Julia had outdone herself in choosing the place. The house was gorgeous, a sparkling pool, spacious rooms, and a view that seemed to stretch into infinity. It wasn't just a house, it was a sanctuary, a place where you could forget about everything in the world for a moment. That first night, we celebrated with drinks and laughter. I started realizing how much I enjoyed spending time with her and the rest of the family. That first night, we celebrated with drinks and laughter. For the first time in what seemed like an eternity, I was able to breathe. The oppressive monotony of my life seemed to disappear, replaced by a fleeting sense of freedom. On the last day of our trip, Julia and I decided to go swimming. Lisa, as she should, preferred to stay at home, not interested in the simple pleasures of life. I never understood why she went on such trips if she wasn't going to participate in them. Julia, on the other hand, was the complete opposite. She took the stage in a black bikini that left me speechless. Her confidence, her poise, everything about her at that moment was mesmerizing. As I watched her, I couldn't help but reflect on the choices that had led me to this point in my life. I thought about Lisa, about our child, and about the life I had agreed to. Regret overwhelmed me as I realized how much I had sacrificed by choosing comfort over passion. The water was warm and inviting, and the light southern breeze played with Julia's hair, making her look like a vision from a dream. I could no longer suppress my feelings. Without thinking, I leaned in and kissed her. It was impulsive, reckless, and completely out of character for me. But in that moment, it seemed inevitable. Something inside of me snapped, and years of held-back emotions came rushing out. Julia didn't pull away. On the contrary, she reciprocated, and everything around us seemed to fade. There was an electric connection between us, a raw and undeniable chemistry that was impossible to ignore. One thing led to another, and we gave ourselves to that game, right there in the pool. It didn't end there. We moved to the shower, then to the kitchen, unable to resist the pull that had been building for so long. Afterward, I went outside for a cigarette, and the cool night air touched my skin. Looking up at the stars, I felt an overwhelming mixture of emotions. For the first time in years, I felt alive. I thought about the years I had spent suppressing my desires, trying to be the person everyone expected me to be. I had always done the right thing, but at what cost? In that moment, everything made sense. I finally realized what it meant to live, even if it came with consequences I wasn't ready to face yet. The realization was both frightening and exhilarating.